Hi everyone. Hello everyone.
Welcome to
Hello,
Hi
happy New
everyone.
Year, everybody.
I was dancing behind the scenes, everyone. It was just to
Me
say,
too.
listen, welcome to Women's LIK and happy belated New Year. It's 2022, lots of things ahead of us. We've got a really amazing show today. We've got a special guest, Mr. Michael Pusey, MBE, aka DJ CK Flash. I'd like to know what that all stands for, the CK bits. He's founder of Peckham BMX Club. He's also CE of Safe House 16 plus accommodation. And obviously we know that he's a DJ and much, much more. So I can't wait to speak to him. I don't even think we've got enough time to talk to him.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out slightly there, Sandra. Yeah, it's great to be back. It's great to be back. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and you were safe.
Yeah.
Everything you wished for and you are well. And it's great to be back. And we have got a fantastic year of guests and exciting things, topical news and information for you. So we are working really hard to bring you what you want to talk about and hear about. And do get in touch with us through the channel in the comments with, what kind of guests you'd like us to interview, who you want us to talk to, and we will make that happen if we can.
Definitely.
Great.
And it was a bit of an interesting Christmas for me. Unfortunately, my husband had COVID and he was stuck in a room for 7 days. So it was just myself and my son eating a Christmas meal. We did our best. And
Did you not feed him? Did you
Sorry?
not feed him? I said you locked him in a room by himself. Did you not?
He had a little bit of food. No, he had his Christmas meal, but he ate it in a bedroom. And the main thing is he's well, and we were lucky we didn't catch it, but my daughter couldn't come around for Christmas, so we celebrated 1 week later. But we're just glad that he's fit and well now. So, but it was very interesting to say the least.
Yes.
So
mine was very quiet. So just me and my son, which was great.
Yeah.
Quietest Christmas I've had, and it was wonderful for me. I'm usually in the kitchen doing the full spread, but because now I'm vegetarian and my son only eats fish, it was a very quick meal. So I loved it. I was able to sit down and watch some films, which is unusual for me. But
so what was your meal then? What was your meal as a vegetarian then? And not my sister's vegetarian now.
I had a vegetarian mushroom kind of stroganoff thing. It was like in a pie thing. It was very nice. I went all out. Went to Waitrose for Christmas.
As you do.
As you do. No, only on special occasions. And my son just had some salmon. We had all the rest of the trimmings. But it just meant that I wasn't waiting for the turkey to cook or waiting for to glaze the gammon and I used to put in cloves and all those kind of things. But so that was out the window, but it was good.
I say you're looking very well, Angela. So whatever you're doing, it's working for you.
Do you know what? I will admit, you're talking about eating too much at Christmas. I must have downed, I don't know how many boxes, and I'm talking about family boxes of Fox's biscuits. I don't even know what was happening. I was filling myself up with.
That's the thing, though.
I don't know. Something was missing, but I've stopped all that now. I'm just having one biscuit.
You're allowed to, aren't you? It's I didn't. I don't. I'm just normal. So I had on Christmas Day I had that pudding, but for me I don't overeat anymore. I used to, and I found that even keel. And obviously they say it takes 21 days to break a habit, and I have definitely broken those habits that I used to have. So, but no, it's one day, isn't it? And it's good fun. And so it's
what we did. We actually we made up family games, which was hasn't got to cost a lot of money, but we had this whole thing where we made up our favorite subjects. So my son did F1. My husband did music and records, and I did current affairs, literature. And so we each had our own specialist knowledge round and a general knowledge round that we all picked a question offline. And it was really, really good fun. And my daughter did a music round, like her best tunes from the 90s. And it was really, really fun. We all got very competitive, like scoring everybody. And we all learned things from each other about the things that we interested in. And we thought, by day 3, we were like, when's the quiz? We're doing the quiz soon.
You should carry on to have it on a weekly basis. It's good.
It was good, and we made it up and we made it fun. So there's an idea for people, no cost, just get people round. What you into? Make up a quiz. Drinks, snacks are compulsory, and it was really fun. It was really good fun. So,
speaking of quizzes and competition, let's bring on our guest who knows all very well about competitions. So let's welcome Michael Pusey, and I'm going to say MBU, to the show. Can we bring on our guest, please?
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing? Here he comes with his flash self, Mr. DJ CK. Can we swap us around? There we go. We've got him on our big screen. We don't want him small. We want him large. Look at him. He's looking large and then
I like that you've got DJ CK Flash MBE and not your name in the box.
Yeah, he's showing off a little bit there, don't you? Yeah, with the MBE bit. Yeah. Listen, look, it's really good to have you on the show. Welcome. Because we've got you under different headings. We're a bit sort of like, we've got your titles where we're going to interview you. I'm going to be talking about one thing. The other two ladies have got their topics to talk about. So you're very much in the news right now and last year. And one of the things that you're very much in the news for is Peckham BMX Club. And that is the first thing I'm going to talk to you about. It's relevant. It's now. So how and why did Peckham BMX Club, come about? How did it all start?
Can you all hear me okay here? Is that
right?
We can. And you're looking really good, by the way.
Yeah, so Peckham BMX started when I was on, funny enough, it didn't even start at Peckham BMX. It started in Brixton at Brockwell Park. I was a DJ on Choice FM, Drive Time. And somebody rang me up who knew I used to race BMX on the radio and asked me to come back and start a small club that was trying to get going in Brixton in Brockwell Park, because they knew I used to race. Before I became a DJ, I used to actually compete as a BMX racer around the country and around the world. And then I gave up the BMX to become a DJ and follow my brother, who is DJ Commander B, which you guys might know, who's my older brother. And then he taught me the ropes, and I just put my discipline and focus that I had in BMX training, which is a bit like boxing training or like karate, where you have to be very disciplined. And I put it into my music, and it accelerated quite quickly because I had a lot of discipline on learning how to DJ, be on the mic, take instructions. And he was quite a hard teacher. So he was in it. Well, you guys know he's been in it for decades doing music. And then I went to the track in Brockwell Park and met maybe about 5 or 6 young people. That was maybe between the ages of 3 and 8 years old. I started training them. And basically what happened, they got so good after about a year of training, or even before that they started to win all the local races around the country. And these were just local young people that basically didn't have money to buy like the flash bikes. They just had a normal bike that they just got from their local bike shop, or bits of bikes that they made up. And that's what was unique about us. I told them it wasn't about the equipment, it was about the effort that they put in to their training and their diet, what they were eating at home, their sleep patterns. So I kind of gave them all that kind of knowledge that they maybe wouldn't get at school when it's about achieving excellence in their performance from their own bodies. So they were winning a lot of these races, and people couldn't understand why they were winning so much. And the people that was actually running the races actually called me one day, because they found out it was me who used to race. And they said, yeah, these young people are winning a lot. Can you, what is it that you're doing with them? I said, I'm just training them and sending them, because I was still DJing. So I didn't have time to go to the races. I just used to send them. So people was like, where are these miracle kids coming from? From Brixton, from Peckham, a part of London that, is not heard of young people in cycling or black kids in cycling. And they were just winning. So then from there, I was called by the council in Southwark to go to a disused track that was in the middle of an estate, which was quarter the size of the one in Brixton. And it was in the middle of the estate. And basically I went down there on a fun day, what they had for all the kids, because it was in a little park where they have like a bouncy castle and stuff like that. So the council called me down for a bike shop called Edwards in Camberwell. And I went down there, and I'm a kind of guy, because I'm a DJ and I know how to hype people up, I kind of made it fun for the kids. So I got the little microphone and was doing commentary on the mic, which I'm used to doing. And then the council said, "Oh, that was really good fun. Do you mind coming every week?" So I said, "Well, I'm a bit more than just doing this community thing, but I will do it. But you're going to need to put some money into the little small track." I think I got about, how much was it? About £10,000. Like,
wow,
that's
that's
good
like
amount of money.
Yeah, well, in council
for the
terms,
time,
that's like a tenner to them. And compared to the track that I've got now, that's £1 million. So that's really low. So I basically took that, got the track, got a digger in, got a builder in, and we redeveloped the track into something that they could really ride. It was an old track. It's been there for 20 years, but it was all grassed over and disused. And we redeveloped the track, and I started Peckham BMX. And 3 years later of really hard work and drilling the young people, the club went from little numbers to about 40, 50 young people. And some of those young people now, we went to win the national championship, the British championship. We had a European champion and we had a world champion as well, to a couple of them, from that little quarter-sized track. So imagine we was racing on a track that was 100 meters, training on a track that was 100 meters. And the track that we actually race on is nearly 400 meters. So this is where the confusing factor came in. They were like, they're from the urban, or what they say, the areas that maybe not into this kind of thing. They haven't got a track. They're most probably known like the Jamaican bobsleigh team that kind of, okay. But the only difference is that they're winning everything.
They're winning.
Yeah. So
that's important.
And second-hand bikes, and then obviously the bikes got a little bit better, the track got a little bit better, and then like I said, we dominated. We had a film that was made about us called One Way Up, which is was on MTV and Netflix, about the story of Peckham BMX. Since then, as you know, 2013, I battled the council to give me a full-size track. I raised about 700,000, and then I think because I was so persistent, and I think because I was linked with media, with my DJ links into other DJs that was on Radio 1, BBC, they kind of knew not to rile me too much, because they knew that I had that kind of voice that could go on the radio and present and represent our people the way we want to be represented, and let them know, listen, I've got 10 national number ones, 10 British champions, and we're still riding a track that is not fit for them. So they got their finger out, especially when I raised the 700,000 and gave me another 500,000. And then there was a battle with certain neighbours in the area of Southwark near Burgess Park that didn't quite know what it was about. So I had to convince them, bring them videos. They still wasn't convinced until the day we opened it, and they saw how many young people was there, professional, with their helmets on, with their bikes, and they saw our outfit. And ever since, we've just been going up until, last year we got the silver medal at the Olympics,
which was absolutely amazing. I mean, what you're saying is very inspirational, and I mean, that was one of the things that drew me to you as well. And why, just be honest with me, why do you think it is so successful? I mean, obviously you're taking the youth in, getting them off the streets, there's something to do as well. And why do you think it is successful? Is it partly to do with you as well? Is there some sort of drive, your drive? Are you putting that into your, the bikers?
It all starts from, like most of us would say, there was somebody behind the person, and I would say my mum and my dad was behind me when I was a young boy. They were, when they came here in the 60s and the 70s, it was very hard for them, even up into the, even in the 90s. I still feel it was a little bit hard for our people 30 years ago. And they worked my mum worked 7 days a week. She was a night nurse at a mental patient hospital in, is it Springfield, near Clapham South? I think it is Springfield, in Clapham. And when she finished that 7 day a week shift, she also went on to run a market stall in South London in Lambeth Walk. And so when I obviously I used to help push out the market stall, set it up for her. So I saw I had that background of grafting, and I'm really going into it. And then I found myself, because of that graft, I could take myself to these races on my own. I used to get on the train on my own with my bag, and I used to just work at another job to pay for the BMXing. And I used to just go around the country, and other people from BMX used to look after me because they're thinking, oh, this little young black person, maybe there was 5 black people in the whole of, 1,000 or 1,500 cyclists. And I used to win some races, and I think that's where I got my respect. And that drive that I had, which I have up to this day, to never take no for an answer, is what I put into the young people as a coach. And those young people, those that do listen to me and take the advice that maybe I didn't have, but I found out later on why I had that drive and what happened when I trained with people that were the world champions who raced in England, and I got to friend them and go to their house and see how they trained and then duplicate what they did. And then I started to win races, is what I put into them so they don't make mistakes. So yes, part of it is obviously me having the experience that I can pass down to younger people, which not just is for BMX, but it's in their lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
So I always tell them, Peckham BMX is not just about BMX. It's about your behavior, how you get on at school, how you get on at home, how you respect your parents. It's all together. If you can get all of these cogs right, then you'll get success. That's basically what it is.
Definitely, and I certainly have a lot to thank you saying that. My parents, and if they're listening now, I've got a lot to thank them for as well. And we do look at our parents, and not everybody obviously has their parents, even if they're young as well. But you were obviously a role model to them. But let's get on to. I mean, you've coached the likes of obviously Trey White, Killian Isidore, and most spectacularly Kai White last year. And I know he's in Dancing on Ice. He's doing very well on there. But what was that experience like, coaching them and seeing them grow?
But honestly, I was out this morning with them, the new generation at about 7:30, 7 o'clock this morning. So and that's like some mornings, like even like I'm older now, like I don't want to get up, like you're just like and I've just got that drive. Like I'll wait to, like this morning I waited to the last minute. Literally, I have to run to the bathroom, brush the teeth, water on the face, coat on, trainers on, and jump in my car. So I just know the feeling of training those guys, especially when they want it, because not everybody's gonna take to BMX or sports. Some people are made for more education, some people are more into finance, some people, not everybody's for it, but you'll get a group, and then what happened, the group will start dwindling down till you find the top that really want to do it and who've got themselves together with parents' guidance as well. And sometimes it's not even parents' guidance. Some of them are always in defense mode. So when they find something like this, where they can actually see successful people growing and they've got others to look up to that are already there, they want to aim for that. And some people want to get out of what they would say the estates where they live or get a bit of life, and they charge towards that. But for me, seeing all my boys is just emotional. They don't really see me break down, but I have had, I think I've broke down. The Olympics, I definitely broke down. Yeah,
I was choking up. It wasn't even my boy. It was me going thinking it was my son. It was so amazing. No, that
was a given. That's
that one I broke down. Maybe a few other times where we achieved and we won the titles, because obviously I say to people that people only see the success, they don't see what came before it. And I've had to bench press. I mean bench press, like you take a lot of blows, but sometimes that if you keep quiet and you keep progressing, eventually the tortoise speaks to hare. And that's what we do. We move so seamless and smoothly under the radar that when we do come up, like we did at the Olympics, people didn't see it coming. And they think, wow, they've done it again. And that's happened on maybe 10 or more occasions where we've achieved some major achievements where people think, where is this club coming from? Where are these kids coming from? Remember, Kai White, sorry, just to correct you, Kai White is the silver medalist. Trey White is his brother, who's also an Olympic rider. And they knew Trey first because Kai was the younger one, like 5 years behind him. And prior to that, you got the Quillen Isidore, and his other brothers that made the Olympic team that was world champion. So they didn't even see Kai coming. And that's what I'm saying. They don't see the progress that's coming behind him. So Kai's watching the bigger brother make world championships. We've got 2 girls Blaine Davis and Katura, who's world number 2, world number 3. So Kai's like the youngest of the bunch, and he came behind them, and he got all the knowledge what they may be not missing. He's mostly looking at them like, okay, you don't want to listen to CK there? All right, I'm going to be listening there. And so when he came up, the older ones was actually pre-warning me about him. They're like, boy, there's one person I don't want to race when he gets older. And they said, that's Kai, because he was winning from the age of 5.
He certainly came up there. Listen, look, you know what? Because in terms of time, we want to talk about your MB, but because it's such a major thing, I'm going to save it to the end so you can tell us all about how that all came about. So listen, you know what? You are an inspiration. There's so much more I want to ask you, but I'm actually going to pass you over to Suzy, who's got a few other questions to ask you. So we're going to save the MB to the end.
Cool.
Okay. So thank you very much. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm just transfixed listening to you, Michael. It's incredible, and you are an inspiration. And before we get on to the Safe House project, I wanted to ask you quickly about what do you see in young people? You said a couple of them don't listen to you, and obviously all of your coaching is kind of holistic coaching. It's not just about the racing; it's about the discipline and getting up and eating right and sleeping right. So tell me about what do you see in kids who need a bit more, and how do you overcome the difficulties?
It's just they got a thing called Kanai, which is something that I heard from Tony Robbins, where he says that, it's something where you just repeat and repeat again until it starts to sink in. What you have to do is, some young people don't get it, but the more you repeat it and the more repetitions you do, is the more they get it and the more they start to learn. What it is, some people give up on the kids too quickly. And I don't do that. I don't give up on them. I'll go back and repeat it again. I'll go back and I'll repeat it again. I will pull them into a meeting and repeat it again. I will pull them into a Zoom and repeat it again until they get it. I will always pull them up. Sometimes the parents don't like how I pull them up, because I will film them and shame them. I will like, yeah, you're eating chicken and chips. There you go. You're eating what? Chips? If you go on my Instagram now, you will see today. I went to after the training on the road bikes, because we do a 20-mile road bike every Sunday for about 8 weeks to get their fitness up. And today we went to the CAF, and they don't know that I'm testing them when they're being tested. I don't tell them. I say, I'm paying for all your breakfasts. Everybody wants to go to the CAF. Brilliant. I said, yeah, go to the CAF. So I went, one rider got left behind. I picked him up. I came to the CAF and the other coach was there. I goes, let's see what they're going to order today, because we've been talking about diet for how many years. And today we're going to see. So I sat down there. I ordered my avocado and wheat toast and that. I said, fine. The other coach,
and these are boys.
So you got to repeat. Then when I looked at them, there was bacon, chips, sausages, everything that I was telling them. You have to change it up. Yeah, and then I caught them all on the camera again. I'm like, this is what you guys are eating then. Yeah, okay. And you want to try and tell me you eat healthy. But now I caught you. And then one of them goes, look, CK, this one was eating chicken and chips last week. I caught him on the camera. So I've edited the video.
Yes.
And I put it up on the page. What they call it? Shame and shame.
Name and shame.
Name and shame.
Yeah, so I repeat. I don't care how I repeat it, and I'm unapologetic to certain parents. I said, listen, you guys are too soft. If you know how our parents were from back in the day, they would have got. You couldn't even speak when they were speaking. They just gave you the
look. That was it,
and you knew. And some of these kids that come to Peckham BMX, they realise, some of their parents go, oh, they're very, very strict down there, a bit too. No, we're not strict. We're just showing you how it should be, and this is why some of the young people are doing what they're doing today, because the foundation from our parents and even you guys and me are just fading away, because kids are having kids and they're not maybe got that foundation. So this is where we have to step in as leaders of the community and get with, maybe like what I do, I form like a little younger group that can talk to the youngers and start building this to make a difference. So yeah, like I said, it's about repetition. If you give up on the kids, then they're only going to go back to where they were. You just got to keep repeating and be consistent. That's
sound advice. That's really sound. Not giving up. And as you say, maybe parents and teachers give up too soon. So, and even in relationships, if there's no, stable family unit, parents give up too soon on the relationship, they give up on their kids. So what you're saying is hugely inspirational, and we can all transfer that to whatever we do. And in terms of the Safe House Project 16 plus accommodation, that is very interesting, because that obviously, without the education, the foundation, you can't have a house, you can't live, you know. So you're providing something for people that have, there's a need there. So tell us how that works and how that came about.
Well, basically, as you can hear, one, I don't take no for an answer. Two, I'm a solutions man. I'm not a problems man. I know there's always possibly a solution to a problem. So, with the club, I think people were saying to me, you know, you already do it already, like looking after young people that need help. The only thing you don't do is obviously you don't get a house and do it, you know, where they were in there. I didn't know nothing about it. And then I started looking into it. Imagine it took me about maybe 4 or even 5 years to start it, because I was looking at it. And then, you know, when you start business, you get partners and you kind of get the increment that they're not the right partners. The communication is not right. You know, then they ain't got the right attribute. And you remember, I'm coming from a place of excellence, or trying to get to excellence. So when you own a business, you have to know who you're getting into bed with, and if they've got the same work ethic as you, or, you know, the same drive as you. Because if you're not going in two different directions, then a business can't go forward. And you find that in many businesses where they start and then they split up and the person gets bought out, kind of thing. So yeah, people was telling me, and then I just met a person who said, look, I can help you set up. We've got maybe 40, 50 homes. So I got them to set up my procedures and policies and everything like that. And me being me, such a driver, they were shocked at how quick. When they gave me this list of 20 things to do, by the morning I already done 17, and I would have done the 20 if I knew how to do it. They were like, what, you've done it already? I'm like, yeah. I'm ready to go.
So you set up as a social enterprise or a CIC?
No. It's a private company, which the council pay people like my company to house people that are maybe in trouble, maybe had to move out of London because they was in trouble. Maybe people that came over under the truck or the bus or the lorries. Like the
You're a landlord then, basically.
Basically, and we put them in houses. We're not a landlord, because we rent off landlords. We rent properties, 1 bedrooms, studio flats or 2 beds, and we put young people in there, and then we go in and give them support so they can get their driver's license, they can get work, they can, and when they're ready, the council say, right, we think they're ready, looking at all the reports you gave us back, we're now going to place them in one of our council properties, and then they can take their life from there. That's how it works. So yeah, that's how it came about. And it's not easy. So people that are listening, don't listen to what I'm telling you and think that you could just run and go and do this, because the main thing is that you have to get the young people from the board. And that's where people come unstuck, because I've seen a lot of people get houses, see me doing it and thinking that it took me 1 year to the day to get my first young person with my credibility. So you better know, you have to know what you're doing, and it's literally like marketing and hustling and talking to the council to get the kids in. You know, it's not cheap.
So you're helping people in that way, and how do you manage to sustain that? So it's building those contacts with the local authority, and do you work with one local authority or many, or how does that work?
You work with as many as you want, because some of the young people come from out of London, from other local authorities. Some of them, which I'm very strong with, is Bromley at the moment. But I think it's about like being on shows like this, letting people know what we provide, and getting other social workers that may be connected to people like yourself to go back to the local authority and say, look, there's this guy, I've known him a long time. And that's how I kind of got in. And then obviously putting your profile out there and marketing yourself. Like I said, it took me 1 year to get the first young person, and it was like the BMX track. It was frustrating because everybody was like, how are they not giving you kids?
Yes.
You know, they were like, that's crazy. Like, and some of it is ego in the council with some of these people you're dealing with. And that's what I don't like, is when you're dealing with egos and you've been recommended to this person to say, this guy's good to go. And you're dragging your heels. And at that time, we've got to pay rent for a big 6-bedroom house, staff, all the rest of it. And I managed to go through because I've got a few other business outside of what you know that kind of helped me prop it up. But yeah, it was a struggle. And yeah, like I said, that's the only thing I don't like about the leaving care thing is that you're relying on councils to give the people, where it's not like if you get a social worker, they've got a kid in trouble, they just bring them straight to you because you're accredited. It's still a little bit of a battle, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the people we're helping is a different kind of young person compared to the kids at BMX. You have to know not to press their trigger points.
Different
You've got to support them. Some of them are they've seen a lot of trauma. Some of them a bit feel like they're privileged in some cases, and you have to kind of bring them back down to earth a little bit. Some of them just you can't help everybody. Some of them you help so much, and you realize, well, maybe you need to go to an institution to learn a lesson, which one of them had to. And then when they came out, I heard that they were a lot better now. But if he would have stayed out, it would have been maybe harm to our society. So it just goes the way it goes. But I know in our job as Safe House, we always go 100 to help them.
It sounds like you're doing such incredible work in different parts of the community. You know, I mean, I think, you know, what are your future plans? I mean, you know, the world is your oyster. I mean, what can't you do?
Well, I'll just take it one step at a time. The thing is about building the teams to run it, because obviously I'm the front man, I'm the talker. I will always jump into the business and go 100 in the first year and a half or 2 years. But even with the BMX team, Safe House, I've got teams around it that help me run it. Experts who are more expert in that field than I am. I know maybe 80% of it, but that last 20% is somebody that's maybe been in it 20 years, and I've brought them onto the team. I'm just building the teams around it. I've got an agency now, which I started prior to Kai White getting the silver, which is called Levels Management. So we manage all his endorsement deals.
Awesome.
Obviously, me being a DJ, you know, I wanted to protect him because, as you know, the entertainment world, and if you've gone from earning maybe 20 grand a year to earning over 100 grand a year, also young people's minds that ain't used to getting that money can go off track.
And the sharks start circling.
You know what? You knocked the nail on the head. Sharks start circling, which I found. They haven't said it because when I told them who I am and what I do, they try and tread carefully, but I just keep quiet and just tell them in their words how this thing is going to go. And God's saving grace, Kai hasn't been pulled away. Me and his brother manage him. So I split my percentage of which is
fees.
My fees with the brother. So it's still part of the family. We monitor it. I have a ton of experts around me that will tell me to price at the right price, depending on certain commercial deals. The TV show Dancing on Ice is part of a production team that produced a TV show that I did with Sky a few years ago. So I've really put a nice, and also I've got investment people, which I was telling you about. The other side to me is property, where I've been involved in property a long time, advising me how to get Kai to spend his money in investments, property, get the accountant, get everything together. So I've put a team around him, and I've sat him down. He sees all the emails that comes in, so he's part of the email team. He sees all the deals that come in, and I'm getting him to understand it, because I said to him, managing a young person or people in this business is not easy.
No.
And his brother's seen it as well, and we managed together. I bring in the top experts, and I'm talking people that are worth millions of pounds, that have maybe even made mistakes 10 years ago, but know how to stop him from making those mistakes. And they advise him with me to make sure when he gets paid, he puts his money into the right pot. So when he retires, he's got something to retire to.
Yes, he won't be like, I won't say, you know, you hear about people who become very wealthy, very successful, entertainers, etc. I mean, there's many we can think of. And then all of a sudden, you know, they have bad investments, bad music deals, and they've got nothing to show for it. Nothing at all. So I think you're doing a great job. And it sounds like Black Pound is important to you as well. So
yes, Black Pound, Swiss. So again, Choice FM days. Me and me and Commander B were very instrumental in the grime scene with the young people, because at that time, again, like the BMX, hence why I really went back to BMX, because as you know, Trace FM got sold. If you know the background behind Trace FM, you would know that it was a certain amount of black shareholders and there was a certain amount of white shareholders, and there was a certain things that their hands were tied. You know, their hands wasn't fully tied. I think if I was involved, I would have maybe looked at it a bit different. But they were getting older. They wanted to get out of it. But they was outvoted, and they done what they did. But I know if it was me, I would have been going to all the American artists that we were playing over the years and saying, look, you guys need to put money into this if you want us to hold on to this. And I think they didn't react quick enough, and it got to a point where they got bought out for the money, and that's what it is. So I was part of the team that got rid of, because obviously me and Commander were the main spearheads behind that UK garage scene, that UK grime scene, to help the kids. So a lot of the other DJs, and I'm not afraid to say it as well, were more into promoting the American artists or the other artists, and the UK kids couldn't get onto legal radio. This was before, obviously, Kiss FM.
The pirate days. Yeah.
So when they got into Choice, which was like a big deal for them, the likes of Miss Dynamite, the likes of So Solid, the likes of Lethal Bizzle, More Fire Crew, all that kind of Wiley, that era, because we had a studio with Wiley, Dizzy Rascal, and Lethal Bizzle. So and they're the main heads. So we had monopoly, and then those guys were going national #1 and the rest of it. So people didn't know, but they did find that in the end. They were thinking, well, how are they getting all this music first? And how are we not getting it as Radio 1, BBC, and they're going national? Yeah. So we was a big instigator behind it. And then obviously everybody, once they kind of Choice got sold, they had to get rid of the credibility, because we weren't complying with the usual playlist that they had. So we were playing music that normally wouldn't get played. If you had any sons or daughters, the talk was, if you get your song to CK Flash and Commander B, it's going to get played, you know, and they're going to put it out there. And that's where people, which is hard to look for now, because young people have now got their own platform. Back there, the YouTube wasn't as big and the Instagram wasn't as big. We gave them a platform that they didn't have on a legal station, and that gave them credibility.
Amazing. Yeah. Those were amazing days. I mean, I'd love to talk to you a bit more about that. I remember listening to Daddy Ernie and George K, you know. I remember those days like it was yesterday, and it was amazing to hear all that music being played. It really was. I mean, you just couldn't hear it anywhere else. It was amazing. But it's been a pleasure to chat to you, and I'm going to pass you to Angela. She's got a few questions.
Hi.
Let me drink some water on this one.
Yeah, all right, take a breather. Take your time.
I've got the coffee.
Green tea.
I do drink green tea, but it's coffee right now.
Yeah, I'm normally having green tea. I'm trying to drink green tea with coconut oil and a few other things I'm putting in there, but it still tastes nice.
That's something new, because I'm you know, I have to say, you talking about the food and young people and eating and 100% for me, because I'm all about eating healthy.
And I'm not perfect. I'm not going to lie.
I thought you were. Sorry, I thought you were.
At least we've got to try. You know, we've got to try. I'm just letting you know. I talked to them, and like I said, I think because I bench press, which I was saying before, I bench press a lot of problems that people in the club or around me don't see. They see things running smooth, but behind the scene, there's me and another team bench pressing a lot of problems, and we kind of smooth it out and make it look like it's all glittery and that. Yeah, it's all good.
But the paramount thing, especially if you're in sports and things like that, is what you eat. You can't. A lot of the kids are eating all the rubbish that you're talking about, because I work with young people as well, in alternative provision. So these are kids who've, you know, got the trauma, you know, can't cope in mainstream school, and I kind of go into schools to kind of like help them to basically just turn their lives around, help them with their mental health, basically. So all the things that you're talking about all adds to, you know, how far Kai's got. It's about kind of looking at his food, what he's eating, you know, what he's watching, and how he's spending his time, and all of that kind of stuff. So really take my hat off. It's inspirational. Absolutely. I know you keep even hearing the word all the time, but for me, hearing what you're talking about and what you're doing with the young people is absolutely pivotal.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about young people as well, because they're the next generation. They're the ones who've got so much creativity as well. Radio. I know you talked a little bit about the radio, working for Choice FM. You also DJ abroad. I hear in Ibiza, one of the places that I've been to a long time ago. This is going back in decades. Ibiza, yes.
I still DJ.
Back then, Sandra, I missed that. I was
doing the big fish, little fish cardboard box thing.
Yeah, I've DJ'd abroad, but at the moment with the pandemic and everything else, I've more. I think with my businesses and what I stand for, I must admit, in the last 3 or 4 years, I've kind of selective where I DJ, because I like to DJ.
How long? When did you start DJing abroad?
Oh, I started DJing.
Way back when, sounds like.
Hold on, let me think. Maybe 25, 30 years. You
Really?
know, I stopped BMXing just after when I was 18, and I'm 47 now.
You're still young. You're still young blood.
Yeah, still. And then obviously I went around with my brother for 3 years, Commander B, and then obviously I perfected my style and realized that I wanted to take it to the next level. So yeah, a long time. But what I found is, and it's like this morning, if you watch on my Instagram, you see like a dad out there with his 10-year-old son. He's riding behind his 10-year-old son on this 20-mile road ride. And I find that I went to an event last week, and I find that it was predominantly white people with their kids out there on a Sunday. And there was only one black young person, 1 or 2 max out of maybe 300, you know. And I don't say anything, but I look at that and I think, wow. And then they look at what I do, and then they wonder how I do it and why I'm there every week for our young people, because they need that person. And I found that when I was going to DJing, I was finding that there's a lot of people out there raving and spending a lot of money on alcohol and champagne and overdoing it just for like show off purposes. And then, you know, I might know a few of their mums, and I'll look at them and I'll think, but if you want your kid to be excellent, you know, you're out raving and you're not following him to his football match in the morning. You know, you're not taking him training. He now needs to go to an event that may be in Birmingham on Sunday, but because you're out with your friends, you're finding that more important. So I kind of not fell out with DJing, but fell out with DJing to certain crowds. And so I decided to, if I'm going to DJ, it has to be events that's worth me DJing at. So if it's like a charity event, massive events that's like 1,000 plus at least, that I could now go out, or daytime events where I knew that I could still DJ. So my birthday, for instance, was a daytime event between 4 and 9, because I knew Monday morning I had to be back to business and working on what I have to do for young people. So I'm very strategic of where I play, and I'm very strategic that I'm getting older now, so I need to preserve myself for longer so I can improve young people's lives. So I don't DJ for anybody. I DJ only at like certain events that for meaning. So if it's a charity or if it's something major that we're going to do, then that's fine. But I don't DJ as much, but I can, when I do turn up, I can.
Can't hear you.
Just lost you for a minute there.
Okay, keep talking.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear now? You're back. You're back. You're back. That's all right.
I find that I DJ for the right reasons, and I DJ to preserve my life, because I realize that it's not, like somebody said, not everybody's like me, because I don't know, I'm very...
You're unique. You're unique. I'm glad that nobody's like you, because you're you.
Yeah, someone says, because I say like, why is it that they can't do things like that? Why are they running down the money? Why can't... But everybody said they're not like you. So in myself, I'm trying to like stay on this earth as long as I can and produce little CKs, which I'm starting to do. So I'm giving you a little instance. So some of the business that I'm involved in involves the young people that have known me for 20 years. So one of them is in property. I won't mention his name. And I've put him in the property business, and I work with him. So when I'm done, he can carry another 20 years. I've got a watch business, which is called Watchbox. And that's with a young person I've known for a long time. And I'm involved in that. And we've built that to a massive stage now where we supply luxury watches at massive amounts of money, house money as well. I don't know how they're worth that amount of money, but we're supplying them. And we're making good money from that. And that's with somebody there. So everything I do, I try and think, how am I going to create people that I can mentor, that they can make money and pass down to the younger generation, so we don't see the younger generation buying into the quick money and not long-term in vision. Some of these companies have took 3 to 4 years to build. You know, like I said, my safe house, it took me 3-4 years to get convinced that I could do it without any hiccups. I'm very calculative of what I'm doing. Some people fall into money very quick. So like the rappers that are out there are just rapping what they're rapping and they're getting big very quick. But what are you actually portraying and what are you giving back to the community that can stop these young people from killing themselves and killing people? Like, I went on a march the other day, just so we know, and there was 5 or 6 parents there that lost their young people at the age of like 13, 14, you know, and they call me on these marches and I told them, you know, we need to look at our community and what we're doing in our community and have groups of role models from North London, South London, East London, West London, where we've got alliances that are putting out videos that could not say cancel what the young people are doing. Because let's face it, some of these young people, they're not born into good role models, some of them. And I'll be honest with you, their mum and parents might be good, but once they leave that house, their uncle might not be, and he might be sending them to do something that they shouldn't be doing. And they get a little bit of money, £500 it might start with, and then they think, this is great, I've never had £500 before. And it's for people like us to get these bigger rappers, not saying they must cut out all their bad lyrics, but at least do a few songs to check the young people that you've got on your Instagram. Because let's face it, young people, not all young people are going to be on this Instagram with us here today, but there's other people that have got 8 million followers. So if we can get people like Stormzy does it, a few of the others do it, and I told them when I was on Choice, if you want to be big, you have to make sure that you do songs that not just the young people listen to, the mums, the aunties, the grannies, get the majority. And then if you want to go and talk about your life, go back and do that after you've got the deal. But make money first, invest money first, that you're secure, then go back and do what you need to do. But whatever you must do, look, when you get the money quick, put it into something that's long-term, that's going to be there for the rest of your life.
Wow. Do you know, I'm just in awe, absolute awe. I'm just hearing what you're saying is just amazing. And I'm just thinking, if we had even 100,000 individuals like yourself around the country speaking like this into our young people, we're building a generation of kids coming up who will have a different mindset. Because I do think it is about mindsets, and that's all changing. The intergenerational
teacher, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I've even lost. I'm glad I lost my train of thought. I think
I've got so much going up here. I've got so much going on up here.
So have I with all the things that you're talking about. Because it's just so inspiring. And I have to admit, because I'm a northern lass, I mean, I'm north of Watford, so I know anywhere north of Watford's like country. So, you know, all the things that you're talking about in London, I know places in London, but I knew about Choice FM, but I didn't realize that, you know, you were a DJ and everything else. So it was all new for me, kind of just researching all the stuff that you were doing. But it's just been absolutely fantastic hearing the things that you're talking about, because in the same way that with the young people that I'm working with, I always say to them, even they say, you know, I'm so rubbish, I can't do this, I can't do that. I said, but what can you do? You know, if they're autistic or on the autistic spectrum, and they say, you know, they believe that they can't do anything, but I'm always encouraging them, even in school. We've just flashed you off the screen, DJ.
Just lost you for a minute. I hope you're still there.
I was doing a
Can you hear
screenshot
us?
to show the amazing women I'm on there after. I can post it. I'm there. Can you hear me?
We like being called amazing. We can handle that, can't we, girls?
Yeah, we can handle that. But you know, you go ahead. Keep flashing the ladies.
I don't think you should say that, Angela. I think there's a
Could I just add in the
pictures of the ladies? That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to add in is that I try and promote ownership. So obviously, I told you about the companies I have with young people. encourage them to do well, get an accountant, get a financial advisor, get people that can mentor that's better than them. And so basically, I'm always talking about own your, like you said with music business, own your own rights, own your publishing, own everything, because that's how we're going to get powerful and do what we need to do to change the community. So I'm a big thing into ownership. I didn't own Choice FM, so I was out of my thing. But after Choice FM, I own everything that I'm in, or I've got a percentage. I don't get involved in anything unless I've got some sort of ownership or some control in it. Because that one did hurt, you know what I mean, when that one did, because I knew what I was doing. And as you can see, we had a conveyor belt of stars. And after that, I had to rethink. And obviously, I started the BMX club, which was kind of going when I was on there, but then I ramped it up. And I took something that wasn't the norm, like football or, you know, like other sports. And I've turned it into a monster where I'm recognized for it around the world.
That's absolutely amazing. Amazing. And I know because of time, there's so much that you've shared with us already. And again, time is always, you know, we're always kind of running out of time. But one of the things I wanted to ask you is, who's been your inspiration? You're here inspiring, certainly me, and I'm sure I can speak for the other ladies as well. And you're inspiring the young people, you're inspiring a generation. You're also inspiring maybe the parents or the carers of those children as well, for them to kind of to start to think differently. But who inspires you?
Yeah, like I said, my mum, but also anybody that's come before me, you know, anybody that's from the older generation that have done stuff. And I don't mean they've inspired me regarding they've done something good. It could be even things that they've done bad that I've learned from. I've looked at it from the side and think, hold on a minute, but you were doing so good. So why did you do that? Or why did you get into that? Or why didn't you make that move? Because obviously I'm understanding business from a very young age. I didn't tell you, but I worked in, if you're from South London, there was a company called Playscape Pro Racing, which was a go-kart company, indoor corporate go-kart company, where they used to bring corporate people like KPMG, Coots Bank Account, Barclays, NatWest, anybody that was corporate, Marks and Spencers, and they'll have their corporate go-karting. And I started working for them when I was like 12, 13. Yeah. And I was racing BMX. I used to like just go there and be the young boy that's sweeping the track, turning the go-karts around when the clients crashed. And then I went from there. Within a year and a half, I went into starting my own cadet school with younger kids. And I had it once a month, and that built up so big that it was just overloaded. People just liked me. It was just my character. And I think because I had the background of my sister was head of social work in South London, which her name is Jackie Blake, and my uncle he got an MBE. If you're from South London, you might know him. His name's Clovis Reed, and he got an MBE, so he's married to my sister. My other sister worked in the Houses of Parliament, so I had a good little crew of people. Commander was Commander on the radio. My other brother was a famous engineer for Jetstar, who done all the engineering with like Frankie Paul and all the top artists, and also engineered for Dizzy, Wiley, and all of those guys. So we was all, I just had role models around me in the family that was working class, if you understand what I mean. That also didn't make me veer off to certain places. You know, if I had maybe 5 role models that was on the road, then I might have thought that was the way, even though my brothers had those kind of people around them. But when they met me, they portrayed a different light to me, because I think, well, he's not really in, you could tell he's not in the role, he's the DJ. And Commander knew what they were about, but I would kind of get protection because that's Commander Beast's brother. So I've got to give it to him on them levels. So yeah, anybody that was older, anybody that came before me, anybody that was older and made mistakes before me, I looked up to them for the right reason. It's not their fault that they made mistakes, but you know, I just seen where their mistakes came. And I try and make sure that I don't do that and make my young people make the same mistakes when they earn big money, when they own a company, not having the right advice, you know. So that's kind of what it is.
Do you learn anything from the children? I always think I learn a lot watching the young people.
Yes. Some of them
that was you pick up your chest there. Yes.
So I was telling somebody today, some young people, depending on what country they come from, you find out that some of them have got some real fight in them, especially from our community, that young people that are growing up on, like I said, the estates, or maybe not from the estates. And it's not that they have to grow up on the estates to have a fight. They might be brought up with a privileged background, but realize they've got a privileged background and want to fight to be better. You know, they realize they've got a head start. When they look back on others that are on the estate, that mums and parents are on welfare, they're like, hold on a minute, I've got a really good head start. So it's not everybody that comes from the grind, but then the ones that do come from the grind, like I said, when they see the silver medal, like Kai, and his brothers and the rest of them, they're fighting for gold. But then you got some other ones that have come from abroad that are maybe coming from war-torn countries that have managed to get into England. You've got Polish little kids that I've got a little 10-year-old that came on the road ride this morning, and he was fighting to keep up with the big ones. He's like, I'm not letting them go. And he gave them a run for their money, like 3/4 of the way through. And I think they left him on the last hill. But other than that, you know, you can see traits in people. And then you've got the quiet ones. You've got some quiet young kids that come here, and they are so quiet that they're absorbing everything that the coach is saying. And then they don't say nothing. And all of a sudden, you see them get on the track, and you're like, where did he come from? He's quick. And then you realize, hold on, this is the one that's not chatting with the friends. He's just sitting there, and he's just listening. I've got a little, how old is he, 7? Yes, I think he's 7 or 6. And this young boy, there's a jump at the track that some of the older ones that are like 13, 14 are not jumping. He don't care. He just says, you know what, CK told me to do it. And he just does it. Like, he does it. And you're thinking, you close your eyes when you see him go for it. You're like, hold on, he's not going for the jump. And he just launches it and just hopes for the landing. Yeah, he's got a different. So you got, like I said, there's different levels when it comes to the ones that the younger ones that inspire me. And kids like him, you can see them. They're going to be the next Kai White when they come together.
Oh, that's fantastic! Absolutely fantastic.
Like Lewis Hamilton, because you know you have that fire and that drive from a young age. It's kind of inside you, but you also need that support and push and guidance from your parents, like his father, who's been there pushing him and steering him, you know, all the car analogies, into his 7th world championship. Should have been 8. That's a whole different story. So you kind of think it's a bit of both, but I think for kids that have got it inside them, they will go where they need to go. But what you're giving some of these kids, it sounds like, is if they haven't got the father figure or the family or the parents who are going to give the extra push, you're there in that role doing that thing. You're kind of like a surrogate parent in a way. It's kind of what I'm hearing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say that in sense. I try not to emphasize it, because obviously it might feel that sometimes I'm not taking them on purposely, but if I start going on like the parents think, oh, we've taken our kids away, yeah. But it's not that. It's just that I see maybe what they don't see.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm not letting your kid go because I've put my time and effort into them, and I want them to be the best. Yes. I'm not settling for second. Yeah, if we push to be the best, then at least they will come second if they can't make the best. But absolutely. I know when they leave CK, whatever they go into, if it's books, if it's education, if they take the same discipline, the same structure, the same focus, they will be successful to the best they can be. They might not be the best, but they will get up there, or they're going to exceed past the best. I always, especially our young people, I told them, when you go into anything, especially if you're from a black background, you've got to do more than they expected. Yeah. So if you're winning a race, you can't just win it by one bike. You've got to win it by 5 and 6 and 7. Yeah, don't slow down because you're winning and you can just cruise across the line. Win it clear, because when it comes to that decision of you going to the Olympics or another person going to the Olympics, there's no way they can deny you. No way, because you're that good. And you have to exceed. And it's not a thing where you've got to do more work to exceed. You've just got to do it. There's no left and right. Yeah. And the same thing came with Trey White, Kai's brother, in 2014. He trained for the World Championship. There was a problem in the British Cycling Federation. He got denied to go to the World Championship, and they took 2 of the other counterparts to the World Championship. I then said to him, go back to them, I was in the background pulling my strings as normal. Told him, can you go on your own to the World Championship with no funding? So then what happened? He went. They decided to take his bike, but not him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, you're going to go? I said, go. So what is it? I said, Trey, I'll sponsor you some money. So I wanted to ignite the fire in him again. So he went, got the train, got the flight, got over, had to ride from the train station to the World Championship track. I could have picked him up, but when he got there, he was so riled up that he got world number 3, and 2 that they took never got anywhere.
Wow, everything for a reason. Just want to say thank you. And I'm just sorry, Sam. I'm just going to say thank you very much, DJ. For start again. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
No, thank you.
We're not finished yet. I'm not finished. I just want to say thank you from me for responses and just having the conversation with you. I'm just going to pass you over to Sandra, because I know Sandra wants to go back to talk about the biggest thing that's on the screen at the moment, your MBE. So I'm going to pass you back to Sandra. Okay.
We're slightly over time, but we have to talk about it. And one of the
we do.
Talking about winning and awards and medals. You were awarded an MBE for your contribution to young people and sort of youth projects. Tell us all about it, because that must have been a pivotal moment in your life. So tell us all how that all came about.
Again, I think when we done the movie, the director of One Way Up obviously contacted some people, which they do, and put me forward. I don't look for awards. Everything that I get, it just comes. I just like, thank you. You know what I mean? When it comes, some people chase down awards. I've noticed, like, they're asking me to write letters for them, and I realized, but obviously when I see it's somebody from the community. So yeah, the letter landed, and I thought it was something to do with the taxman, because I was like, what's this? So then
he's paying his taxes.
Yeah, because it looked like that kind of letter. So I took my my letter opener, which you can see, open the letter, and then I saw it was the MBE. So my mum, I don't know if you've been on my Instagram. I don't know if you guys have seen my mum. My mum's 89.
I've seen her. Yeah, I've seen her.
She's no joke.
She looks great.
She's no joke. I took the letter down. I said, Mum, look, I'm getting an MBE. She said, yes, let me get my hat on and ready.
It was a nice hat as well. Nice hat.
Yeah, she was ready.
Oh.
And obviously I was allowed to bring 2 more people. So obviously my career, Commander B, I brought him as well, because like obviously I owe him for like my professionalism in the way I speak from being on radio and stuff like that. So he came along. And then my niece, who works for British Airways, she's a head air hostess. So I brought her as well. So yeah, like I said, I brought inspiration people with me, with my mum. Yeah, I was quite shocked. Obviously I had a bit of a kickback, because obviously I'm in the community. So the good thing about me is that I've had a good balance in life. I have worked with people from the community, people in low incomes, and then I've got the other side to me where I've been people with multiple properties, anything from 20 to 50 to 100, and investments and available funds up to millions and millions of pounds. And I know both sides, and they need someone like me, because sometimes these people with money want to get to the other side to help, because they're seeing what's going on, but they don't know how to get to the other side. And with charities, sometimes it's not made up of people of our color, and the money doesn't go to where it goes to, or it doesn't get to do. So we have to kind of have people like myself, like a group that I'm part of in Croydon. There's Mentivity, P4YE, who are people that look like me, that go out and give food back and generally want to help. So yeah, like I was saying, it was like I'm glad I've been in that between, where I can meet both of the things together that wants to work. And people were fighting down the MBE on the black side of myself, because obviously they talk about it. And but I was like, me against Solution Guard. I'm like, listen, all right, they might have done that, but this is something that they understand. and I need to go through the door to get back what maybe they took from us to bring it back this side. But that's exactly what it's for. I do know what it stands for, but don't get it twisted. Sometimes when I walk into environments, when I'm the only black person in the room, I'm getting things from them, and that's why you can have Peckham BMX. That's why you can have these champions, because I will go to them and say, you know what, Kai White's going to a premiere, and because I've got an MBE, they're like, ooh, they understand that. They talk to me. When the guy who brings me to the meeting says, this is Michael Pusey, MBE, they're like, oh, he's got an MBE. Take me serious. Then they will give Kai White a suit for £4,000 for him to go to the BBC Year of the Awards, you know, that they would give to celebrities for free. Halfords will want to sponsor him. When I walk in the room as a black person, what do they see? But when you tell them he's got an MBE and they look me up on Google, they say, yeah, he's no joke. He's the guy behind Peckham BMX. They will give me things. And I want to bring things back from that community, back to from that side to the community to help lift up our young people. Well, not just black people, but all young people that need help. Yeah, I'm not just the black people. If I see a young person, he could be white, Somalian, African, Indian. If they want to put in the effort, then they would do that. And you know what? As much as young people, and if they understand what's happening and you explain to them, they will move in that way and they say, you know what? I will help that young person. He might be black, he might be Indian, he might be whatever. I'm trying to do something where people are not going against each other because they've got something. I'm trying to do something where a community builds a child, and a community that builds a child is not just a black person. It could be the accountant, it could be whatever. As long as they understand where we're going with it and we're all on a plain level field, which is not always the case, then we can try and move forward. But like I said, it was a kickback. We went to Buckingham Palace. My mum came, my brother came. Prince Charles gave me the award. He was kind of when he walked in, he was like he had this kind of swagger about him. He's got this kind of like this kind of Brixton walk. He walked in with soldiers. Look at this guy. He's kind of trendy the way he walked in, and he spoke to me. And then I looked around at the crowd. I was like, yeah, let's go get this, you know. And it worked for me. And it was a great day. And then I went back to the track. An artist called DWE. He was at the track doing a music video, which was great. I haven't seen him for years. And he realized I got the MBE and he was congratulating me, a rap artist. And then the kids was there. So, yeah, I just keep it real, you know. I keep it 100. I just say, you know, we got it. Let's use it. And let's open doors where sometimes those doors don't open. And I'm proud to be, you know, knighted. And like I said, I've got awards from the community as well, massive awards.
Yeah.
Other awards. So I just balance it both.
No, it's fabulous. Congratulations to you. And just putting it out there, guys, if anyone's watching, I'm waiting for my MBE at the door there. I keep looking at the post. It's always tax things rather than the MBE side of it. But congratulations to you, and accept that award graciously. That's what you've done. Look, we've actually obviously gone over, guys, and we all know that. But I want to thank you, DJ CK Flash. It's been fab. I mean, we need longer with you. You've got a lot to say, and we've got a lot to listen to, and we want to listen. It's fab. I want to congratulate you for everything that you've done and all the support you give to the youngsters. Thank you very much. Just to let you know, guys, that everybody that's watching, our next show, hopefully, we're praying that it will be the 27th of February, which is a Sunday at 12 midday. For everybody that's watching, we just want to say, you know, do look after yourselves and stay safe. Any last words, guys, before we go, Angela and Suzy?
Well, from me, it's been a complete pleasure to chat with you.
We've lost him.
It's been a pleasure and an inspiration, and I've learned such a lot from listening to you, and I think we've all gained something today, and I'll certainly watch it back, and I'll watch it back with my son as well. So
definitely. So guys,
and I was going to say, and from me, sorry to interrupt you, Sandra, I know we've got time, but yes, absolutely amazing. I feel it's been a pleasure actually meeting you and hearing what you're doing for the young people. It's in the same game as, you know, myself, and kind of supporting the young people, and just hope the message gets out there and people are watching. Please pass it on to other people, because you know, the inspiration and the words and just everything that you've done is just so inspiring. And I think if more people can listen to this and try and support the young people rather than judging them based on, you know, where they are, then, you know, we'll get the best out of the next generation. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for all those watching, have a really good Sunday, and we shall see you in February with another fantastic guest. So stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Cue the music. I'm dancing before the music starts. Oh, we've lost Sandra. Hello. We are still live.